Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Everyone's Niche. Today, our guest is Shintaro Higashi, and I'm really excited to have him on because judo is a really big part of my life, and because of that, he's a really big part of my life. So, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Shintaro Higashi. I've done judo my whole life, and I am Tara's judo teacher. That's my claim to fame.
Yeah, I've been at his dojo, Kukushi Budo Institute, for about 5 years now. So we've known each other for a while, and you know my dad and my a lot of my family. So um, I've been around you a lot, and I know that judo, as is a big part of my life, it's a big part of yours since you were a young child. So can you talk about kind of why you've got into judo and your how it was so ingrained in your family and your childhood?
Sure. My father came over from Japan to teach judo. He was part of the global initiative to spread judo across the globe, and he was a big part of that. In the 1960s, they took some of the best Japanese coaches, judo coaches, and then they just sent them all over the world. And he spent his whole life, probably 50, 60 years, just teaching judo. And as you know, the Kakushibudo, my judo school, has been around since 1963. So naturally, when he had me, he was like, "All right, my kid's doing judo," and that's that, and here I am today.
Judo in itself is already niche, but being a sensei, a judo
Mm,
sensei, is even nicher, I guess you can say. So, can you give us
yeah.
the perspective of what it's like to run a dojo, to be a sensei, to be that mentor figure to a lot of people?
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. So there's three parts there, like you just mentioned, right? There is the sensei side, right? There is also the business side, and then there's also like the mentorship side, right? So you have to be a great mentor to younger people, right? Some people just aren't cut out for being a role model, you know what I mean? And I try my best to be a great role model for everybody. And you could be the best teacher, coach in the world, but if you can't, understand the economics of the business, then you're not going to have enough money to keep the lights on, right? So it's a three-pronged approach, really is, and it's super niche because a lot of people who are very good at judo, tend not to have spent a lot of time developing business acumen. So, you spend your whole life doing judo. Now it's like, all right, run a business too. And also, it's like you got to learn all of it from the scratch. You know what I mean? And a couple of mistakes, the business is gone. So it's definitely a tricky thing. And it's super niche because I don't think there's too many people in my position, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's as niche as it gets, but it really does feel great to be able to, do what I love and teach people like you and those guys. It's really nice, and I could be a mentor, and it's very, very fulfilling. It's a fulfilling career because it's like, hey, I'm making a difference to some of these people, right? So it's very, very interesting. I love what I do.
In France, judo is really big, but
Yeah.
we see here in America, like it's not popular at all.
Mm-mm.
Um, can you tell us why you think people in this country should invest themselves in even watching the sport or training the sport?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's a great martial art, I think. It's one of the best ones. It's kind of like wrestling, right? And it's a great beneficial sport because it helps you really develop character, and judo's unlike the other martial arts because there's an embedded philosophy within, right? So it's like you really should go ahead and try to find the right school that's a good fit and then learn because not only are you getting in shape, but you're really learning the principles and philosophies of being a better person, a better human, right? And that's why I think people should go check out judo. And if you're listening to this, you should check out my YouTube channel, which I have a bunch of judo videos. Right, there's some techniques Tara's
Yes.
on there, right? So yeah, I highly suggest judo to everyone. It's not the most popular sport in the United States, but in the globe, it's pretty popular.
Yeah. And you were
Yeah.
talking about that philosophy. So is there any like philosophy or anything that you've learned from judo that has really helped you shape who you are outside of the dojo?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think the way you look at failing, I think, is one of the biggest thing in judo. When you learn judo, you learn the first thing to do. Like if you look at sport like tennis, the first thing you do is a positive thing, right? You hit the ball. You look at boxing, the first thing you do is how to punch. In judo, the first thing you do is how to fall, which means how to get taken down and then get back up safely, right? And that's really the core foundation of judo. You're gonna fall. You're gonna get taken down. You're gonna get beaten. You're gonna be held down, right? And then how do you get back up is sort of the essence of judo in the beginning, right? And if you look at it that way, it's like, yeah, there's things in life that's going to take you down and bring you down and then, beat you down, especially, right? And then you got to be able to get back up, and having that resilient mindset and having an approach to life like in that way can definitely help you. So, I try to, really live my life by those principles too. And then when you get taken down, you get back up and then you can learn from it. It's not like, oh man, I'm so bad. And it's so easy to be, right, self-hating and like, ah, man, this is a reflection of how bad I am or whatever it is. But then you use that experience, you get taken down, you learn how to get back up, you learn from it, and then you move forward, right? And that's really what judo's about. So yeah, that's how I try to live my life. It's not perfect, but I try.
Yeah,
It's a good
I
question.
I think that's a really good philosophy to live your life by. So you've been a sensei for a long time now, and you've seen so many different people pass through the dojo. I want you to pick the traits of what you think a perfect judoka would be.
Ooh, perfect judoka, huh? That's a very, very tricky thing. Yeah, the different attributes that make a great athlete. I mean, one, I think coachability is a big one, right? You have to be coachable. Because if you're not coachable, right, how are you going to learn anything, right? I think being a great athlete, having athletic aptitude is another one, right? And that could be in the form of being very strong naturally, being very mobile, being very coordinated. I think that's another one. You can't have zero athletic ability and then be a great judoka. I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong, right? You can. These are learnable skills, but some people have a head start when it comes to this stuff, right? You come in, you're super coachable, and you have great athletic abilities, super coordinated. This is how you do a tie-up. Oh, go like that? Yeah, just like that. This is how you do an armbar. Oh, I got it. You just got to make your body go like this. Yeah. Okay. Are you strong? Yeah, I lift weights. I'm very strong. Right. And it's like, okay, so you're coordinated, you're strong, and okay, and you're coachable. All right. Those are very, very important attributes. But outside of that, there's lots of other external factors, that you don't see. You could be the greatest, talent in the world, but you have a lot of options. You go into finance or you have a kid, something like this, and now your focus is not on judo. Now you focus on something else. If you can't stay focused on the goal, you're not going to get good, right? So, perseverance and being persistent about being on a goal, that's another attribute. So, man, it's a tough question to answer. And I think some
Mm-hmm.
people, have different attributes that really make them stand out. It's really about understanding your own personal profile, right? I know guys who aren't that athletic. I know guys who aren't, are coachable, but they're not like always listen to me. But people, I've spoken about this the other day at the dojo, are just super innovative and creative. So they take anything that I say to them and they say, okay, if this works like that, how can it apply to these other techniques? Let me try it over here. Let me try it over there. And then I could teach them one thing and they learn probably 8 different things, right? That's an amazing attribute that some people have, right? And generally speaking, the super athletic person, relies on their athleticism. So they're not really that creative. So it's sort of a give and take, and it's really hard to paint the picture of the perfect athlete. Uh, Very good question, though. It's something I always think about, right? There's people that I've had in the past as a student that I was like, man, this kid's never going to get good, and Terrazzo was one example of that. Now he's a monster, right? Over the course of a decade and a half, he's developed himself into a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right a powerhouse judo player. Not
Definitely.
like on the international circuit or anything, but he could hold his own with anybody, right? By anybody's standards, he's good. So like, I kind of didn't think that when I first met him when he was 12 years old, you know? Yeah.
Just straight off the bat, no. Just no.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah, but I think that's a good testament to what you were saying earlier about buildable skills and how you
Yeah,
can
a
walk
lot of
in.
this stuff is learnable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can walk into judo with no knowledge of anything,
Yeah.
or even me. Like as a child, I was so unathletic. Like, and in terms of some things, I still am, but I've learned to build the athleticism that I needed for judo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely,
Sometimes you can't judge somebody just, where their beginnings are. A lot of this stuff is learnable.
definitely, definitely.